bath bombs, and I'm sorry, but I had a bit of a failure at the start because I forgot to zoom my camera around. But anyway, I'm sure you won't mind, and I'm going to save this later for anyone that's at work. So let's get making. So we've got our KitchenAid here. You don't need a KitchenAid. You can make bath bombs just in a container, but for this period, we're going to just do this. So I'm going to show you a few things that we're going to add. So let me just get it all organised. So in here, we are going to be starting with our material. So if you don't have a mixer that you want to use, you don't have to. You can basically just put all this in a bowl, but use a sifter. So in here, we do have our cornstarch. We've got 60 grams of cornstarch that's going to be in here. And now I've just opened my bucket of bicarb, or my box. So this is what we're going to use. So we need bicarbs. We need 1 kilo. So let's just add that in. If you're in the US, there's lots of conversions. So just go online and just Google, grams to pound or whatever you're using, or ounce. It's really easy because I'm doing everything in grams, because in Australia we use grams or kilograms. So like I said, this is a kilogram, which is 1,000 grams. So we've got that in there. So at the moment, like I said, we've just literally put the bicarb, and we also, so a kilo bicarb. And then of course we do have on the bottom here our cornstarch, and that's going to add as a bit of a filler. It will bulk it up and help it so that it doesn't fall apart. So we've got that in here. Now the next thing that we're going to do is a couple of things. Because I'm using a KitchenAid here, because I want to mix it all up, and I want to put water-soluble dye in it. So before we do anything else, we're going to do what's called blooming this. So blooming it means we're going to add this. So all that's in here, if you can see on this popsicle stick, hopefully you can, it's like a purpley colour. It's just a table and a half 1 tablespoon of water, just plain water. And then I have a tiny little bit of water-soluble dye, which is a powder. That's the one I buy. And then we're going to add that in here, and we're going to turn this on. So before I do that, I'm just going to get my gloves. Let me see. I know I bought them in, so I'll be 1 second. Oh, here they are, right in front of my face. And then we're going to use one of these little basic molds today. And we're going to do some tiny ones because Easter's coming up soon, and I know people are going to ask me for tiny. I always get phone calls every single time I'm going to do this. I need to do something to block them next time, but I get phone calls all the time. So anyway, like I said, we've got everything happening. So we've got the gloves on. Let me just move the KitchenAid so you can see it a bit better. And you must use this paddle as well. So don't use the whip. It needs to be the paddle. I'm just going to pop it on. And this KitchenAid is only used for baking products, which I've got, sorry, not baking, bath bomb products. So we're just going to tip that in, and the water will actually help harden this as well. So, and now let's just turn it on. And what this is going to do, blooming, means that it's going to allow this bicarbonate soda to suck up every last bit of this beautiful dye, and you can see that kind of colour. And today we are going to be doing a lavender bloom. So it's not just going to be lavender, it's going to be lavender and floral. And then we're going to add some things into this as well. So I'll show you, and I'll talk you through it as we go. So now it's on low. This is just on the 2nd speed, which is still very, very low for KitchenAid. And I've spilled a tiny bit of this purple stuff on the bench, so I'll just wipe that off. And so this is basically what you're going to do. You're going to get your little stick every now and then, just turn it off. We want to just get all this off the side because we want to mix this in. And generally, I would do this for about 8 minutes. We're not going to do that today, but while we're talking about a few things and getting some other things organised, we'll let that do its thing and bloom. And hopefully it's not too annoying. So now inside here we have our oils. So inside here I have 2 tablespoons of fractionated coconut oil. That's going to be the oil I use. You can use any other, you can use hemp seed oil, you can apricot kernel, you can even use olive oil if you really want. But I do suggest using a lighter oil. The coconut is really good, the fractionated coconut, for bath bombs, because a lot of people are not allergic to that. And sweet almond oil, some people are allergic. Avocado's the same. So try and use one that's a little bit light. Or apricot kernel oil is one of my favorites. That's a beautiful oil. So I've got that. I've also got 1 tablespoon of aloe vera juice. If you don't want to put that in, just add water. You don't need to add that. Honestly, there's a lot of things I put in, and the reason I do it is it adds shelf appeal, if I'm really honest. So now we've got all of this. We're going to set this aside, okay? And now next we're going to have cream of tartar. This is going to make the bath bomb hard. This is just a little container. It's 125 grams. So I'm going to use roughly half of it. So about 60 grams of that. If you were in winter, use 70, add a little bit more, because your environment and the weather will really dictate. So now let's just take this off, just for a minute, just so I can show you the beautiful colour. Now, can you see the little white granules? It means it's not really ready yet. So we're going to pop it back on. As I said before, you've got your spatula, so in between, turn it, because you don't want bits of dye, otherwise those bits of dye will stick on the bath bombs, and they don't look pretty. Now, when we're talking about the amount of water-soluble dye I've used, I'll show you this. It's basically only the end of a popsicle stick. I can't even weigh it. It wouldn't even be 1 gram. Probably 1/4 of a gram. It's just such a small amount. So just go by what you like. Some people like really bold colours. I don't. I really only like them pastel. If you make them too bold, they can actually stain the bath. So don't make them bold. Try and make them a little bit more pastel. People will thank you later. Now, if you're doing markets, you're going to sell these at markets, I do suggest putting a little bit of mica in. The reason you would put mica is the mica is going to help it not lose its colour, because sometimes these lose their colour in the sun. And that's if you're doing markets. So let's put that on. I will get some other things organised. So we're also going to use these little see-through containers. These are what, if you can see them like that, this is what we're going to make the bath bombs and sit them in here. Now, the reason I'm going to use that, honestly, is this particular, these ones here, they're going to keep the bottoms round. And look, you can find anything. I mean, even sometimes a spoon. If you've got nothing else, get a soup spoon, and you can sit them on the end of soup spoons because they're round. And it will hold the shape better. So just kind of think of what else you can use. I'm just giving this a little spin on high. Once again, we're just going to give it a bit of a mix. And after this is done, I generally will take the whole mixture out again and mix it with my hands. So, and I'll show you. So now we're going to let that just go, and we're going to add some more things in here. As I said, we do want to add our cream of tartar. Now, once we add this cream of tartar, it is going to start to go hard within, a few minutes. It will start to go hard. So before we do that, we want to make sure we add the sifter. And that's going to just make it smoother. If you don't want to add this, you don't have to. If you don't want to use a sifter, you don't have to, but your bath bombs may be a little bit ugly on top. They may not be as smooth, because the sifter is going to just sift any hard, ugly bits and just make them a bit more beautiful. But, if you make a bath bomb and it has a crack or something, still sell it. No one cares. It's just going to go in a bath. It's really important just to, do your thing. Anyway, so it's looking a bit beautiful, isn't it? Let's just take that out. So now, obviously, we have the cream of tartar. We'll take that away so we know we've done that. Now, remember, we've got our oil. So I'm going to add the oil in here, and we're just going to let this mix around. Now, if you're making bath bombs and they're not successful, there's usually a reason. The main reason, honestly, is often people, they try and rush it. They try and just put everything in, and they don't want to wait. It's really important that you don't rush this process, because bath bombs need to be slowly mixed and made beautiful. So now we've got our little tablespoon. I'm just going to use this fragrance. This one here is from Pure Candles. It's called Flower Shop. Many suppliers have the same one, so you can get it in whatever country. It basically is like a floral perfumey smell. So it's a tablespoon of that. And I'm going to use half a tablespoon of English lavender, just to add a little bit of a kind of a bitter, will stop it being so sweet and florally. And if you get a good quality fragrance oil, that will actually help with the smoothness in the bath. And I have customers that have said to me that they've tried other cheaper bath bombs or even more expensive, and they keep coming back because they just like the feel of mine. So if you add some quality oils, people will just keep coming back. Now, obviously, we need the citric acid, but that is going to be last. So it's mixed up a little. Like I said, in between, we want to just keep turning this because it may not grab everything off the bottom, and we want it to be mixed super well. So let's mix this. Now, usually I do put witch hazel in this too, which we will. So let me just go and grab the witch hazel, which I think is under my bench. So this is the witch hazel. I did get this from, where did I get it from? Heirloom. I've had it for years because I bought, a big one. So we're just going to add probably half. I usually do half a cup, which is roughly about half a tablespoon in there. And if you don't have that, you can add water. So now let's just turn this off and double check it. So what we want to do is we want to kind of hold it and just see how it's looking. It's looking pretty good. It's not too wet. You don't want it wet. If you make a mistake and you add too much water or liquid, you can always add a little bit more bicarb. Just add a little bit at a time to try and make it less watery. And that will kind of help save your bath bomb. So now we're going to put this back on. We are going to add citric acid. I bought it from my shop like this because, as you all know, I've been sick and haven't got to been able to go to the other shop. So we're going to add 450 grams of citric acid. So generally I add 450 grams to every 1 kilo batch. But sometimes I only add 900 grams of, let me make sure I get all this out as well. Sometimes it gets stuck in the bottom of the container. So sometimes I only add, like I said, 900 grams of bicarb. So, so it's just, you just got to kind of work with what we're working with, don't we? So, and, look, it's a lovely day today. If it was a rainy, miserable day, I would not be making this. Definitely don't make it in a rainy day. They will expand. So when they get big and expand, that means that they are not working. They are starting to activate. And they will activate because of the humidity in the air, and that's what rain does. It creates humidity in the air. So now we have done that. Let's just mix it again. So once again, we're going to just turn this on. Let it do its thing. Just go up to level 2. And this is the thing, like I said, honestly, if you want them to be good, you just need to mix them quite a lot. It's really important to keep mixing. And you can probably see, if you can see this purple, when you add water-soluble dye, it will have a light purple and a magenta pink in it. And that's because the purple is a mixture of blue and magenta. So you want to make sure they're mixed. Now you're going to hold it in your hand and you can see that's holding together. So it means that that's pretty good. So I'm going to take this out and I will mix it again by hand. So, and I'm kind of working behind the camera, so I hope you can see well. Let me just lower the camera a tiny bit. And I'm in the back part of my house because we are thinking of selling our beautiful house. Now, I don't know whether you can see, but if you hold this and you can see the bicarb, if the bicarb starts to move a little, if it moves, what you actually need to do is not do that. It means that you need to stop making it because it means that it's too wet. Because if it's moving, it means it's trying to activate. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea. Anyway, so we've got this now. So we've got our little mould that we're going to use. I think I got this from Lee Molds. And and also on the inside, if you get a 3D printed mold, make sure you sand them down. Because if they have the big wedges on, they just won't work. The bath bomb in it just honestly won't work. So you need to just sand them down a bit. That's what I found in my experience. Now, I'm not going to be using, let me just put the camera down a bit more so you can see. Now, I'm not going to use a press. I'm literally just going to press with my hands. Hopefully you can see. And the first one's always the interesting one. So when you first make it, what I always say is do one and see if it works. If it gets stuck, it means you're going to have to tap it. And that just has to do with the moisture. And every bath bomb recipe, doesn't matter whether it's me making the exact recipe, every day is a different day. So we've got to see. So now I'm just going to get it over this. I'm just going to rub all the extra off the top. If it has this little line, that means that is the satin ring. And most people want that. So all we're going to do is like hold the bottom, hold the top, and give it a little squeeze here at the top. This is generally what I do. Squeeze and then pull it off. So now you can see this is perfect. If it didn't work, I would know I need to tap it with the scissors. So we'll just do the same, squeeze the bottom, we'll see. And can you see how it lifted off and it broke? That means we need to tap it. And that has nothing to do with anything that you're doing or making. If it doesn't work, put it back in. You can start again, there's no problem. And as I said, often all it is it just the environment. So pop it back in. Squeeze the mould again, and that just means we're going to have to get a pair of scissors and tap the top, which I'll just grab a pair. Now, 3D moulds are notorious for getting bath bombs stuck and making people so frustrated. I do have some really expensive moulds that I often use. Even the metal moulds, they're easy to get it off. But if it doesn't, this is what you're going to have to do. Give it a bit of a tap, release, and sometimes walking away and leaving the mixture just for a minute, it will get harder and it will save you a little bit. So let's pray to the bath bomb gods, and you can see by me just literally tapping it. Hopefully I hold it there and the sun's there. And this is what it looks like. So doesn't it look beautiful? So that is one. You can do that. And I'll show you something else you can do as well. So we're just going to put the little lid on. Now inside here, these are little peppercorns. So they're not spicy or anything, but if you want to add them, so to make them look a little florally, inside this little mould, we can just kind of add a couple, and then we'll make this bath bomb now, and I'll show you what it will look like. Just add a little bit more mixture. And two, if you don't have enough mixture in here, what's also going to happen is it won't be compacted enough to work. Let me take that out the way. Let's just lift this off. Shake the excess in there. Like I said, we'll go around the scissors because we already established before that this wasn't working. And you can kind of hear it being a little bit hollow. I don't mean hollow, like you can hear it's kind of pulling away from the side. And I could feel when I was doing that it was like sticking to the mould a little. And even though I've already sanded it, because I had this mould and I love it, but it never works. So I thought, look, let's just go back and sand it. I've sanded a few. And then you can see the little peppercorn sitting in the top. So then that just makes a little florally fun one. You can put any kind of product you want in the top. And these little ones are about 40 grams, I think. So they're very cute, aren't they? I hope this has helped some people, you know, like I said, be able to make them. I'm just going to cut the top of this bag because that's the excess bit's annoying me. And I actually got these from my local food store that sell spices. So you can just get a couple and just sit them in. You probably can't see because it's black. The mould's black. So it's a bit hard to see through that. Pop it in. Like I said, we're going to just give it a bit of a squish. We'll see if this works. I think it needs a... Let me just take this out, actually. I'm just going to add a weeny tiny bit more so you can kind of see in there. Just add a bit more. It wasn't kind of squeezing down enough. So we'll pop it out of here by holding your hand there. So make sure this is held together, and you can see I'm holding it tight with my hand at the top and bottom. Once again, we will go around, tap, tap, tap. So remember, if it's not working, that's what you need to do. Otherwise, you are not going to get it out of the mould. And so doesn't it look cute? But you know, don't be finicky, everyone. If something isn't working, don't panic. Just, you know, you can sell them like that. Like, nobody really cares. And if you go to Lush, they've made a living out of bath bombs not being perfect. You know, they're making a living out of them looking homemade. People like that. I think as makers, we're hard on ourselves, you know. Like, as many of you know, I have actually been making pottery at the moment. I've been making some wax melts. And I said to my husband, oh, no, it doesn't look good enough. But then he said to me, oh, remember what you always say, you know, it does look good. You just want it perfect, which is true, but they're not factory made. So anyway, I can just tell there's not enough in that one. Let me just add more. That's better, so I can give it a press. If you get this and you can press the mould together easy, it means there's not enough in it. It's not compacted enough. So once again, we will take it out. And then I'll put these on the shelf to be able to be sold. And I'm sorry for all of you that have been saying to me, oh, I'm trying to get your bath bombs. There isn't any. I really have not got a lot at the moment because I've not been well with the skin cancer. But I will definitely be coming back with some more. So what you can also do is hold it like this. Turn it upside down in the mould so that you don't have to handle it too much. And just give it a bit of a squeeze. And hopefully it comes out. If it doesn't, then we know that there's a problem, but that came out. We just need to give it a little squeeze. Anyway, don't they look beautiful? Anyway, I hope this has helped you all. I will let everyone go now, but this is what they look like. They're looking a bit beautiful. I'm going to leave them here so that they can, you know, look beautiful in a moment. It won't take them long to look absolutely gorgeous, and then they'll all be ready to go out to my lovely customers. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.